So I believe it was the libertarian magazine Reason, which did an article a while ago that we covered on this show. And in the article, they point out that most of the Republican presidential candidates are openly calling for war with Mexico. I know that sounds hyperbolic. I know that sounds crazy. I know it sounds untrue, but they have the quotes. They have their receipts. Most of the candidates are like, yeah, we want to take out the drug cartels, so maybe it's time to use the U.S. military for that. This is astonishing. I don't remember the poll number on it, but I want to say it was under 20%, maybe even under 10% of the American public agrees with this. So now we have Ron DeSantis, and he's doing some sort of a town hall, and look at what he says.
Would you be willing to use drones, whatever military it takes, to take out those drug cartels in Mexico?
Yes, I've already said that. We will lean in against the drug cartels. We will absolutely reserve the right. If they're invading our country and killing our people, we have the right to defend this country. We have the right to hold them accountable. And it's not just that they happen to come over our border. And if Mexico's not going to help us with that, well, then we're going to have to do what we have to do.
Did you say you'd use drones on the Mexican drug cartels?
I said I would use whatever force we need to defend the country. They're killing tens of thousands of Americans right now. They're trafficking people into this country. They're abusing people, sexual abuse. It's really the worst of humanity. I would categorize them as something akin to a foreign terrorist organization. I think that's what they've proven to be. The Mexican government is not doing what they need to do to help with this. But we said from day one on our border announcement, we'd be willing to lean in against them, and we reserve the right to defend the country.
He's saying we should wage war on Mexico to take out the cartels. What's the list of problems with that? Let's see. Well, first of all, the Mexican government is not okay with it. They're a sovereign country. It would be a complete and utter violation of international law. It would be unconstitutional. It would be illegal. And oh yeah, by the way, haven't we been doing, that's right, a war on drugs for decades? We've treated this like a military problem. We've treated this like a law enforcement issue. The fact of the matter is the answer is counterintuitive. It's to legalize, tax, and regulate drugs and put the drug cartels out of business. If you legalize, tax, and regulate, well, guess what? Then you have companies and businesses and people wearing suits and ties dealing with all of this stuff. And if there's a dispute, you settle it in court with judges. You don't settle it in the street with guns. And by the way, just so you know, this exact approach that he's advocating for is the thing that got us in trouble in the first place. When we decided, we're going to wage a war on the drug cartels and we took out El Chapo, you know what happened? What happened is there became a rival drug faction gang war in the street. And you have now what's being called like mega cartels or ultra cartels, which are these warring factions because now people are vying because they want to be the top guy. They want to be the top dog. And so that's where you get the violence from. That's where you get the guns in the streets. And again, the way to address this problem is the counterintuitive way of addressing this problem. Legalize, tax, and regulate drugs. And this idea that the government of Mexico is not doing what they have to do. You think they're not trying? You think they're not trying? It makes it very, very difficult when our policies are basically facilitating that the drug cartels remain strong and that they remain powerful. And so do an illegal and offensive invasion of one of our top allies. I mean, this is that neocon, American exceptionalist, imperialist brain rot. And this is one of those things where it's so funny. A lot of these guys are posturing like they're anti-war. Why? Because they say, we don't want to give any help to Ukraine. Just let, Vladimir Putin was just being defensive and let him do whatever he's going to do. They think this is an anti-war position. And so they say that on that issue, but then out of the other side of their mouth, they're like, what if we illegally invaded Mexico? And by the way, do you trust us? Even if I'm steel manning their case, do you really think that these drones are going to be so successful at going after the drug cartels, but you're not going to have civilian casualties? Under Obama, we had a 90% death rate where it was not the people we were targeting. They were killing the wrong people with drones. And of course, Trump increased that by over 400%. There's not a track record of success here. All we know is this dumb action-adventure movie type shoot-'em-up response to problems. That's all we know. The real answer is to legalize, tax, and regulate. And by the way, you should also set up universal addiction rehab centers, right? Because of course, if any substance is going to be legal, there's going to be some people who take it too far, and those people deserve help if they want help. You don't treat this like a criminal problem. You don't lock up drug addicts and people who sell drugs. You don't do that unless you also want to lock up the people who make Xanax or Bud Light. Actually, don't answer that, right-wingers. I know you do want to lock up the head of Bud Light right now, but you still want to keep alcohol legal. Point is, some people are alcoholics. We deal with that as good as we can, but we still have a default level of freedom. Instead, they want to be authoritarian, they want to criminalize, and they want to wage war against the cartels in Mexico. This is astonishingly stupid. All the problems that we have, all the issues in the world, and they're like, let's wage war in Mexico. And he says it like confidently, right? As if it's like a popular position. Even among the Republican base, this is not a popular position. I mean, of course, if you phrase it a certain way, maybe you can get a majority of Republicans to agree with it in a poll. But the only poll I've seen on this, like I said, was under 20%. Yeah, that's the way you're going to get your numbers up, Ron. Sign that bill banning abortion, ban some more books, and say, I want to wage a war against Mexico. Real tough guy stuff there. Watch, you're going to surge in the polls. No, you won't. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.